What's your best? We never speak of this moment ever again. Me and my buddy once in high school were getting blowjobs from one girl at the same time. I remember we accidentally touched hands during this and then locked eyes for a second. High school is a weird time. I believe we came to an unspoken understanding there. Last year I was in my basement with a girl I knew, on the couch fooling around and watching TV. Well, apparently my stepsister came home and decided to come downstairs. She knocked on the door and walked slowly to the stairs because she knew I had a girl over, but I couldn't hear her due to the fact that my ears were completely covered by this girl's inner thighs. All of a sudden we both see her foot appear at the top of the stairs, so I jump up onto the couch and try desperately to put on my pants while the girl literally dives behind the couch trying to hide. My stepsister just stood there for a second, then said I just wanted my phone charger. I couldn't look her in the eye for about a month. The worst part was that we all had dinner together after that, like my whole family and this girl. Awkward as fuck. I peed myself on my friend's bed once out of nowhere. I realized it and just went back to sleep because I didn't know what to do. When we both woke up again it had dried, and she casually told me that the stain on that bed was from when she went to bed with her hair wet. But it was on my side and hadn't been there before. I don't know if I peed so much she thought she did it or was doing me a favor by coming up with that bullshit excuse, even though I didn't say I thought it was bullshit or she wasn't washing her hair correctly. But it was me. I checked my panties, it was me, and I'm so sorry. In college I ended up coming home from the bar one night with one of my ex-girlfriends. Naturally we start having sex. A couple of minutes in I realize that there is a problem which I somehow didn't notice before we started. I really have to pee. Drunk brain says don't worry about it, just keep going. Bladder says you will not ignore me. I must deal with this problem, but stopping mid-coitus is clearly not an option. Drunk brain points out that I'm wearing a condom which is, after all, designed to contain liquid. I decide that my best course of action is to just pee a little bit to relieve the pressure until I can finish. Silly drunk man. Everyone knows that you can't just pee a little bit. So I start peeing inside her and cannot stop. I think for a split second that maybe she won't notice, and then I'm like, you're gonna pee like a gallon. She will notice. Only one option, escape. She's facing away from me, so maybe I can get out of the room before she sees what I've done. I pull out and waddle out of the room with this ever expanding, urine filled balloon of a condom swinging off my dick between my knees. It turns out condoms hold a lot of liquid. This thing was like a huge ass water balloon. I got to the bathroom and tried to slip it off, at which point it immediately exploded, covering me and the entire bathroom in pee. I say, fuck it, I'll deal with this later, go back to the room and pretend to pass out. I wake up to an accusing glare. I know what you did inside me last night. Turns out she cleaned up all my pee in the bathroom after I passed out. We never speak of it again, but we both remember. She cannot forget the shame. I cannot forget how fucking funny it was and how damn good that pee felt. Let me preface this comment by letting you know that my dad died when I was about 14, as that fact contributes to my story. So my boyfriend and I were recently having sex, and I noticed he smells different. He's not wearing his usual deodorant / cologne, but I can't place the scent. We're laying there naked afterward, all covered in sweat, and it dawns on me. I blurt out, "You smell like my dad," and burst into tears. My boyfriend gets the deer in headlights look and awkwardly tries to comfort me as I cry about how post-coitus he smells like my dead father. Never talked about that moment again. In my newly, as in 2 days earlier, adopted brothers of age about 4 or 5 started getting pornographic with me during bath time. After mom undressed us, the brothers were taken away the next day. My parents never spoke of it to ask if I remembered, and I never brought it up again. I was too young to know what was wrong. It was weird when I was in my 20s and rediscovered the memory in my head. It was like reopening a box that has been in your attic forever and technically you've always known what was in it, but when you look at the contents again after so much time with such a radically different perspective, you're like, what the fuck is this doing here? In high school, a friend and I were eating at an Italian restaurant at a table around the corner from both of our parents. We were splitting a pizza and pitcher of root beer. As we were finishing up, a woman comes to our table and tells us how proud she is of us, that we were so comfortable being open about our relationship, and that she paid for our meal. There we were, two straight guys staring at each other while mentally balancing the pros and cons of food vs sexual preference. We took the meal and went and sat with our parents. Never before have two straight men been so conflicted, but one must never turn down free food. One night my blood cousin, my cousin who was not blood, but merely the son of a good friend of my mom's, his girlfriend, and a good girl, friend of mine were on our way to having a fun-filled, ecstasy-fueled night of wonder and magic. We stopped by my non-blood cousin's house to pop our pills, and we kind of hang around until his girlfriend gets ready, showers, and we can dip. So me, my real cousin, and my other friend are laying in his bed bullshitting, waiting, and out of nowhere, the bed feels painfully comfortable. We all talk for a straight 10 minutes of how comfortable this bed is, and how we should bring it with us every time we party. So at this point, my fake cousin bursts into the room in his underwear and announces, and I quote, "Time to fucking rip those pants off my babies. This is now an underwear party." So we oblige. We turn on all of our party lights. We turn up the music, and there's the four of us, half naked, rolling around the bed giving each other massages reeking of baby oil and Vicks Vapor Rub. We tell a lot of stories from back in those days, but we don't tell that one no more. Middle school. I've decided it never happened. This is going to be NSFW, fair warning. Years ago, 3 of my friends and I were spending an afternoon in my basement. At the moment, we had the television off and were only on my laptop. This was back when chat roulette was a big thing, so we were on there just messing around. Suddenly, we get an interesting chat partner. A beautiful young woman who appears to be fingering herself off camera. She sees that there are 4 of us, all male, and just says, "Sup guys." We exchange looks of, "Oh man, this looks promising." Within a minute or two, we get her to show us her tits. Then she asks us if we want her to do more stuff, i.e. dildos or w/e, but says she wants to see us one-on-one. My friend Chris spreads his hands out and goes, "Guys, I got this." So, we all think, fuck it, why not? Get up and go to the other section of my basement, where you can hear what's going on, but not see anything. We hear Chris chuckle a couple times, and one time he goes, "Oh my god," and laughs a little bit. Then it goes silent. This repeats for my 2 other friends. Then it's my turn. I was playing good host, and letting them go first. I get to the computer, and this chick is naked on the floor with a hairbrush handle in her vagina. I shit you not. Right when I walk over, she's already going at it. So, I do the polite thing, take my shirt off, and start masturbating furiously. It was interesting. She bent over and all that good stuff, and after some time I was finished. I told my friends to come back over. Our lovely partner in crime got dressed and sent us the message, "See you boys around," and disconnected. We all looked at each other, laughed a little bit, and agreed never to tell anyone of this event. No particular reason, we just felt that no one needed to know that we, technically, listened to each other jerk it with some chick on chat roulette one at a time. Everyone was silent. Thankfully, I didn't have to listen to anyone masturbate. But, yeah, that's my favorite story. We agreed to never tell anyone. No throwaway. I jaff at this point. One night when drinking, my male friend and I, male as well, stayed at a friend's apartment because we got way too drunk to drive. Our options were the floor or a lover seat. We fought over the lover seat before finally agreeing that we would share it. We cuddled. It was weird in the morning. Damn, I've got a great one, but it'll probably get buried all the way down in the thread. In high school, I spent the night at my friend's house. We are both male. We hung out in his garage drinking rum, reading comic books, and talking girls/life, etc. Both of us getting pretty hammered as the night went on. Being drunk at that age tended to make me incredibly horny, and it tended to make my friend incredibly tired. He was in high school and worked 2 jobs as well, so he was almost always sleepy anyway when I'd hang out with him. We decided it was getting late and time to go to bed. He let me take the couch in his basement while he went up to his bedroom to crash. This was the usual arrangement when I'd stay over. So there I am, on the couch, room spinning, boner throbbing. One thing I knew is that his dad, who'd passed away some years before, had a stash of Playboys in a closet down there in the basement. So it's 4 AM and I drunkenly decide that it's fap time to some 70s bush and torpedo tits. I grab a stack of 6 or 7 issues and start flipping through them. And I get to doing what comes naturally, of course, making the bald man throw up. The problem is that I'm really too drunk to get a good rhythm going, and I end up passing out right there, pants down, cock in hand, Playboys strewn about. The next morning, I wake up. It took me a few minutes to realize it, but several things were immediately apparent to me. I was fully dressed, under a blanket I know I didn't pull from anywhere, and, most distressingly, all of the Playboys were back in the closet, stacked neatly exactly where they'd been before. I head upstairs and my friend is at the breakfast table eating pancakes. His mom's cooking, and she politely offers me breakfast. I say sure, and then I glance at my friend. I quietly ask him, "Hey man, did you come down to check on me or anything last night?" "Haha, I kinda passed out. I just wasn't sure if you woke me up at any time, or what?" He looks at me a little strange and then says, "Oh, no. I went right upstairs and passed out too." "Why?" "No reason," I reply. I believed him too. If he'd walked in on me mid-wank and asleep, he'd have let me know. At the very least, he'd be laughing his ass off at this attempt at morning conversation. My friend's siblings were all older and off at college at this time. It was just him and his mother living there. My friend remained clueless, and nothing relating to the night's events was ever brought up by me or her. I was in a perpetual state of cringe YWTF any time I ever had to interact with her after that, though. TL. Doctor passed out masturbating at my friend's house. His mother was totally classy and cool about finding me in a state of undress. I was in Vegas with my boys, and I got trashed early. I somehow ended up in my room, and during the night I went into the bathroom and fell in the tub and split my forearm open. I just went back to sleep. I wake up to blood all over the white sheets and carpet. At that moment a cleaning lady comes in and sees me covered in blood naked. The look in her eyes still haunt me today. I just grabbed my wallet, threw her a 50 and she left. I could have gotten away with murder in Vegas. So back in high school in my Spanish class there was a girl who sat behind me and loved to put her feet against the back of my chair and push. It was annoying for me, so I would always turn around and slap her legs so she could drop her feet. She would do it so much that I got into the habit of just slapping her legs without even turning. So one day I feel her feet on the back of my chair as usual, so I throw a slap without looking. Her legs felt oddly soft, but I thought I was just imagining things. Still her feet are up against my chair, so I throw an even harder slap. It's soft. I turn around. I had slapped my Spanish teacher's ass twice.